So I see we missed that lovely gold buy. Ryan, I think you took it, right? Perfect rejection at last week's 1.618 zone. Really, really good. But yeah, I think let's just look at our um, overall bias for today. And depending on what our bias is, we either look for shorts or longs, right? Today we also have some news at 4 o'clock. ISM, Jolts, and well, Friday is non-farm. Jolts is tomorrow. So today we just have, Jolts is today and ISM is tomorrow. Damn, nice Ryan, bro. Very, very nice. All right, so let's yeah, damn, really, really good, bro. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. All right, so Nasdaq, we have a lot going on. But let's just see what we can get off Nasdaq. All right, so you guys know the procedure. Today is Wednesday, so we will be looking at marking up Tuesday's daily lows and daily highs. Right, so Tuesday low. Damn, that is a huge move on Nasdaq. Tuesday. What's up, Fink? Hi. Alright, so we draw up our Fibonacci levels, and over here we have our Tuesday golden zone. Right. Tuesday GZ. And alright, so let's just clean up our chart a little bit. All right, so we have a lot of imbalances, right? A ton of imbalances on Nasdaq. So obviously imbalances are fair value gaps. So over here, just mark it like this. One over there. And potentially alright, so we have fair value gaps going all the way to 19,524. All right, currently we're at 18,686. What I would essentially look is us fulfilling the first fair value gap. So possibly going for longs once we surpass Tuesday's low. All right, so once we break above Tuesday's low, we can potentially look for something like this, at least filling 50% close to this resistance area, and then aiming to go back there and further down. All right. If we don't get this move on Nasdaq, I think essentially what we would look is taking longs right about here. So looking for longs at 18660 and 18710. Right, so it just really depends what the market gives us for Nasdaq. What's up, Grant? What's up, Justin? So yeah, that's Nasdaq. The thing is, whenever price moves a lot, right, within one day, it's very, very difficult to have a low risk setup, right? So by low risk, I mean obviously with SL and TP zones. Yes, TP zones could look really, really favorable, but because we have such a big gap in price, that we would have to obviously have stop loss in a significant area, right? We can't just randomly have stop loss at, for example, like 100 pips or 200 pips, especially with these kind of trades, right? So for example, let's just say if we want to do short over here, right? Our stop loss ideally would have to be above resistance, okay? But also keep in mind that we have a trend line, we have last week's golden zone, as well as a fair value gap. So there's a lot of confluence over here where our stop loss would be. The safest stop loss would be, yes, above here, right? But look at how big this price is. We're literally looking at basically 3,000 pips stop loss, which that's a big no-no, right? That's a big no-no. So the best thing to do is either see how price reacts here, and depending on that reaction, we take a tighter stop loss. So it would have to be something like 372, around like that. But again, if price keeps on going up, at least we know, okay, cool, we can probably take shorts at resistance, fulfill this fair value gap, and go short from there. So Nasdaq is extremely, extremely choppy right now. I'd say the safest trade would be taking buys over here at 18,660, around there. All right. But Nasdaq, essentially, we're gonna be sitting on our hands for that pair. And let's look at gold. All right, so this is why we mark up our last week's fib, right? Because look at this area, exactly at last week's 1.618, 2472, price touched and boosted up, right? Boosted by at least 12 points, okay? So let's see exactly what we can cook up for gold today. So I'm switching over to the 1 hour time frame, resetting my chart, and let's see what we can do, right? So again, it's a new day, so we mark up our daily lows and daily highs. So that would be Tuesday's low, and Tuesday's high would be here. All right, so we have Tuesday's low and Tuesday's high. Now, before we draw a fib, let's look at the daily time frame. Let's see what price is telling us within the day. All right, so we can see, okay, cool. Right now, if you look at the big perspective of things, we're still in a bullish trend line, right? So what we need to do is as well draw our daily trend, right? So let's just remove these unnecessary trends over here. All right, and let's bring price down. All right, so that would be our daily trend. Okay. So let's just remove joins one more time. So we can see, let's look at the candlesticks, right? Since the 29th of August, we got a spinning top, which obviously is a bearish candlestick, and the following day led to another bearish day, which didn't surpass the high. Then again, we got a bearish candle. Yesterday we got our first bullish candle, and now we can see price potentially, forming another bearish candle. But keep in mind that although the yesterday closed bullish, right, we already matched or somewhat broke below the daily low, right? And we've already matched 50% of the previous day. So to be honest, with bias at the moment, it does look like price could come down even further. But keep in mind that we are still in a bullish trend on gold, right? Always keep that in mind. Whenever you guys do analysis, yes, you can see like a huge movement within the day, but keep in mind what's happening within the daily period, right? So the moment you see, okay, cool, yesterday was absolutely bearish, but on the daily time frame, we're still bullish, all right? So let's go back to our drawings, and let's go over to the 4-hour time frame. All right, so right now each candle represents 4 hours. Okay. What we need to do is mark up these areas, because previously we've marked up the areas where we are busy playing. Now we need to mark up areas where price could potentially go, right? So we have this over here, potentially something like that. And make this blue. Alright, so that is a 4-hour SR, support and resistance. Next one, essentially have, let's drag this up. Our SR. And then we'll do one more zone. And then for our SR. Alright, so we have our support and resistance zones marked up. This daily 1-hour trend we can take out. And let's go back to the 1-hour time frame. All right, so we have our Tuesday zones marked up. Now let's draw our Fibonacci levels, right, for Tuesday. So low to high. Could potentially see a rejection over here. and price coming down to 2453, which we mark as Tuesday 1.618. What's up, Janine? What's up, Sheldon? All right, so we have our Tuesday high, Tuesday low, as well as Tuesday's Fibonacci zones. We could also potentially see a trend line, not the best one. It's actually quite a decent one, to be fair, over here, right? So that's a 1 hour trend. 1 hour trend. What's up, JMO? So let's take a look at Jolts. So previously it was 8.184. The forecast is 8.1. All right, so they've seen a slight decrease in Jolts. All right. So Jolts, the job openings and labor turnover survey program, produces data on job openings, hires, and separations. All right, morning. What happened to the ZAR if USD collapsed? What would happen to the ZAR if USD collapsed? What do you mean collapsed? Like went to zero or just decreased? Recession, big drop. Yeah, so essentially ZAR would 100% be stronger than the US dollar, right? Because if the US is in a huge recession, but it obviously depends, like in what form of recession, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that the ZAR is going to increase compared to like the euro or pound, right? So if the US is in a big recession, then obviously ZAR will be more valuable than a dollar, depending on what the conversion rate is. But it depends what, right? Because also you must consider, even though the US would be in a recession, you must also consider the exchanges between the two countries, right? Because sometimes, even though the economy is doing weak, if it still has some form of, what's the word, like, essentially like with imports and exports, if it has a stronger import and exports or like a higher supply or higher demand, whatever the case may be, then it would still somewhat stabilize the US dollar, especially against the ZAR, right? But yeah, so Jolts, and let's see. Jolts declined from to 9.39 million. Fractional orders decreased. Gold moved above the key level 2000. When was this published? 4 April. So essentially, what this news is telling us that if jolts come in lower, gold will increase, right? So the forecast is already lower than expected, right? 8.184 was previously, the forecast is 8.1. So they're assuming, what's up, Kim? They're assuming that jolts is going to come in lower than expected, which would mean that gold would increase, right? So fundamentally today, that would actually switch our bias because we would have to look for longs on gold then, subject to jolts coming in, lower than expected, or at least coming in as expected, right? So we could possibly see gold head over to our C box at 2526. So how I would trade this then is, because we have a 1 hour trend over here, the moment we break over that 1 hour trend, we could look for longs. But alternatively, I would look for a retest on the support zone over here. So on the 15-minute time frame, we didn't necessarily get a retest. So the moment we get a retest, I would look to go long. So Ryan and BMAC, your positions, if I was you, I would keep on holding those until 2526 at least. Right? If you guys are still in on gold, definitely hold it until 2526. So 2468. We'll probably look at a 10-point stop. 7. And then 2526. So that's a big ass move that we'll be looking for gold. But we need a pullback. Either we get a pullback and we enter there, or we possibly take longs at 2494, which is obviously quite far off. But let's just see what kind of trade we're looking at here. So for next trade, if you guys are taking this trade on next trade, 2467, yeah, that's essentially our SL. TP would be 2525. We'll probably look at doing a 0.03. Oh, okay. I did not see red news today. Yeah, we over here you can see at 4 p.m. South African time we have jolts. So that's red folder news. Cool, yeah, Ryan. So we'll probably look at a retest over here, but we also have a fair value gap. So we could even enter like a little bit lower down, something like this. But yeah, I think for the next trade peeps, we're looking at a 0.03 lot size for gold today, risking $31 to make $141. I have 3 micro runners. Nice. So yeah, I think let's also just have a look. So jolt started, especially job openings and higher figures can influence investor sentiment and stock market performance. A surge in job openings may boost investor confidence, leading to increased investment in stocks and potentially driving up stock markets. All right, so we might see today a mirror. All right, a mirror. Oh, sorry, not a mirror. A direct opposite of gold and Nasdaq, which is typically what you want to see. right? If we get a retest, it will be an A++ trade. But if I feel it's going to go to 2496 and test Asia highs, yeah, a retest would be nice. We have essentially support, Tuesday's low, fair value gap, and also depending on the daily range so far. Let's see. So yeah, we could potentially see price coming back down from this area, 2484, 2487. Alright guys, so everyone trading on next trade, just make sure that you see this. 0.03, SRB 2467.50, TP 2525. Alright. We could even potentially go a little bit bigger. But $41 knock on 53 would be a little bit rough. So I think we stick to a 0.03. Alright, and let's just close this. So with NASDAQ, if JOLTS, there's improvement on JOLTS, then if there's an improvement on JOLTS, price would go up. If there's a decrease in JOLTS, price would go down. All right, and that's the opposite for gold. So if you guys are trading NASDAQ, considering the fundamental impact today, because right now look, JOLTS at 4 p.m. previously it was 8.184. The forecast is 8.1, right? So they're already forecasting a lower in JOLTS. So that means that stocks would continue going down. So what I would most likely look for NASDAQ then in that case is, you see, we have our previous day, we have Tuesday's golden zone. I don't think we're going to get there by 4 p.m. And that's essentially what we're working with. So I would even say like, if we can get a market open and price pushes a little bit higher, we could look to sell NASDAQ. Possibly a retest on this trend, or at least touching the golden zone. But otherwise, a safer bet would be a break on support and retest. We only enter in gold if price comes to 2477. Yeah, damn. I was aiming, like, we actually had pending orders on 2472, but we cancelled it yesterday. That would have been absolutely crazy. Damn, really good, Ryan. What did you miss, Janine? So we're mainly looking at buys for gold, Janine. This price point here, 2477, possibly higher. We're looking at a 0.03 lot size. So I think we'll be risking $31 to make $140. And Nasdaq is very choppy, but based off the data, we're looking at shorts on Nasdaq. So yeah, ideally I would like to get a short position at least here, but that's asking a lot. For once, I hope you're wrong. Why? Are you in an opposing trade? Oh, what's your entry? That's good though. Two 510. No, but what's your long entry? Not your TP. Or are you shorting from 2510? Ain't no way. Entry was 2510 long, but price is at 2487. How can you be long at 2510? Oh, futures. I don't know what price that would be on this chart here. So yeah, guys, that's our setup on Nasdaq and gold. I think we'll probably only get the movement that we want close to New York session and the opening of Jolts at 4 p.m. New York session might even be a little bit calm today until Jolts come out. But yeah, I think there's definitely no trade that we can take right now. We have to wait for price to pull back or at least break this trend and retest for a long opportunity. If it breaks trend and retest, we'll probably take something like this and put stop loss just slightly under. We could possibly do a 0.04 with that. What's up, John? Yeah, so long on gold and short on NAS. But NAS, there's no proper entry. The only possible entry that we could look at is a break and retest at 18710. But even that is a little bit scary. So yeah, short stream today. I'm gonna end it here just because we're only really gonna trade at maybe 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. we'll start. So from 3 p.m. I'll go live. But if price does come down sooner, then I'll go live again. NAS has massive SL, so yeah, way riskier, bro. NAS is so dangerous today. Super dangerous. So yeah, guys, that's the outlook. I'll definitely come back at 3 p.m. latest. But if price does come, then you'll just get a notification. 2478. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, tell Nas to behave. Shot JMO. Alright guys, 25 to 50 pip trades are fine. We sneak in a few during your session. Alright guys, so yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm probably gonna go live 3 p.m. South African time. 3 p.m. So essentially in like 2 hours, you can say. I'll be live in 2 hours again. Alright guys, so I'll see you at 3. I'll probably be here. Yeah, I'll be here, especially for the jolts trade and stuff.